Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you're serious about the digital asset space, and let's get right into it today. One take and uncut. Guys, this is going to be a huge data dump of information, so please stick around. Each and every part has to do with the previous part. So again, guys, the power actually went out where I was living, so I am actually recording in a different location right now. I apologize about the sound quality. The wind has been crazy, so just bear with me. So to kick things off, I know everybody's already seen this, shared by Coining203. JP Morgan, guys, could it be Ripple the company? Could it be XRP they are utilizing? And they made this announcement: real value of real-time payments, RTP, is real-time payments, and essentially as everybody in at least crypto and specifically the XRP community aiming to replace the correspondent banking system of trillions of dollars transacted per day, clunky architecture. As we say, look, 40 years old technology, they need a tech refresh. Everything with the software rollout and update, we see the first new U.S. payment system in 40 years is coming, and it aims to dramatically simplify processes from transaction initiation through to reconciliation. Now, granted, reconciliation is not settlement. That is not the keyword we're looking for, but we can see that they see the need to update it finally. So let's actually go to the website directly. As we can see, it sounds a lot like RippleNet. Now, I'm not going to say this is XRP. What I'm going to say is whether it is a digitized USD, dollar, or, JP Morgan coin or anything like that, I think between interbank settlement or the domestic rails, meaning just within the United States, yes, we need to improve that first. Guess what comes up after that? International rails, cross-border rails, interoperability, XRP. So we can have every country do this and update their system, and we are one step closer. So I think that domestic rails have to be fixed and simplified, and then after that, we are ready to roll it out. I'm telling you, this is just like they're, marinating a meat. They're, priming the masses, showing us this. So RTP, finally, they're acknowledging everything we've talked about on this channel for so long. So again, RTP, immediate funds availability rather than 2 to 6 days. Instant confirmation, finality with settlement. All right, integrated information flows. And now watch, I was actually reading through this. They mentioned bidirectional messaging. Sounds a lot like RippleNet. Now, whether JP Morgan saw, RippleNet solution a long time ago, and they said, hey, we're going to, take what and pick and choose what we like to use with their own intranet or internal system. Absolutely. All right, so let's kind of go through this really quick, and then just be sure to stick with me, guys. This is going to be a long one. I'll try to talk fast to respect your time. Feel free to go on 2x playback speed. You can just go in the settings of the YouTube video and change the speed. All right, so again, business process, two-way communication, aka bidirectional messaging, guys. All right, look, bidirectional communication, just like RippleNet. Payment confirmation, they're notified. You guys can get your FX rates just like RippleNet, right? And then funny, look, a ripple effect of benefits. It's almost like they're teasing us. I know that's speculation, so don't get all crazy, and please don't be a snowflake if I'm just talking about that and speculating. We have to speculate on a speculative investment, all right? And then also financial control, of course, visibility, and then liquidity management. Shaping the experience, RTP, just connecting buyer and supplier, reducing, intermediaries, aka disintermediation. So we got buyer supplier. I mean, this can go everywhere. And then what's important is this: 24/7, 365. No more during the banking hours and time changes and all of the, the clunky issues in different messaging languages, and then different languages altogether. And then I even saw a video this morning too. Blockchain Backer made a good point. When they're filling out these payments, there's human involvement. And if they even put, one letter incorrectly, or one number out of place, the payment might not ever send, or the money could be lost entirely. So right here, the first new United States payment system in 40 years can help businesses to simplify and gain efficiencies while vastly improving the payee experience. We're going to see more and more developments. I'm sure that, the U.S. government and, the Trump administration will talk a little bit more about this. And of course, they use the pandemic as another reason to update their system to show that they really have to increase throughput, increase efficiency, and realize, even, Trump was talking about, I don't know if he's talking about payments or just the overall computer systems they have. Guys, they're out of date. It's time to update. Now, I'm not saying everything has to do with XRP, cryptocurrency, and payments. What I'm saying is, we are going through a time of necessary change in transition. All right, next up, this was shared to me by Peter Voss the other day. So guys, not saying XRP at all, just sharing that we are moving towards a digital tokenized economy regardless, whether it's fiat, paper money, or a digitized central bank digital currency. XRP is still needed as a bridge asset. This is not me saying this. This is from everybody in the tech industry that is familiar with XRP, right? So this was on the finance Yahoo. We can go right here. Let's see where it was. I'll just read the screenshot. It's a little easier. So, right here, it says, we fully support the U.S. government. And guys, again, this is actually NetSense, okay? So the title of the article is NetSense declares readiness for expected U.S. Federal Reserve digital dollar. So pay attention here. We fully support the U.S. government in its creation of the contemplated digital reserve currency. The US dollar is already the reserve currency of the world, so moving it to a digital format makes total sense. The US might have 63 million people unbanked, but the planet Earth has billions of unbanked. Notice the regions that all of the cryptocurrency markets, even, the crypto ADA, Cardano, they're, targeting all parts of Africa as well. They have billions of unbanked people. It only makes sense that the dollar take a digital form to enable remittance, all right, and micropayments. We're going to talk about that as well. Now, that's going to be a huge, huge market for the unbanked globally, as well as the status of the world's dominant currency. The benefits to the treasury would accrue into many billions of dollars into innumerable ways. Societal benefits would be created as well. A digital dollar would be difficult to use for crimes and funding terrorism, for example. Right? More control. Everybody's going to be paying taxes. And again, right here from Peter Voss as well, NetSense now accept XRP payments in store today. #1 cryptocurrency merchant gateway, accepts crypto, receive fiat, accept payments from any e-wallet, unlimited transaction sizes, and monthly volume. All right, and again, this article is right here on Yahoo Finance, just released. Next up, XRP Crypto Wolf just sharing this. So England's central bank, the ECB, now remember Christine Lagarde, former director of the International Monetary Fund, right? Literally, basically going over actual, frameworks, legal frameworks and everything for the whole European central bank system. And the European Union as a whole, very familiar with, tips and, target 2 payments and, the SDR, special drawing rights, very, very familiar, well connected, and also, well connected with Ripple, as we know. So right here, they said private companies, cryptocurrency could work with any future central bank digital initiative if they offered real utility. Remember the videos of Christine Lagarde saying, yes, digital assets, or they call them crypto assets now, are far beyond, in terms of technology and energy usage, such as XRP, are far beyond the bitcoins that we used to see back in the day. And she said that in videos. I've shared it multiple times. And then, of course, this title is actually by CoinDesk, and they're just sharing, for private cryptos like Libra. I don't think they'll want Libra. Personally, because it's still going to require trust. They're going to let another company be stronger than potential governments or countries. Doubtful. I think that, this pre-allocation theory, which has been around a long time since Miguel Valles, CME Group executive, I think there's a greater plan. Now, if you guys, disagree, that's fine. Some people think that, XRP's top price is going to be $20. I beg to differ. I've seen the math. I've played with the numbers myself. David Schwartz says, even for cross-border alone, $120. And then multiplier effects, guys, that was talking about 100 billion XRP in circulation. Today, there's only 3 billion in circulation. So you guys can do the multiplier effect of that. That's, well over even, Cryptopolis, Suzy Esoteric. They run the numbers with even like Swift market share. I'm just saying, low 4 digits is possible. Now, I'm not trying to make a hype video. I'm just showing you the potential. Bottom line is this. You de-risk. You do what's right for you in your scenario. I'm not familiar with it. All I'm saying is whether you sell at $1, $3, $50, $500, it is still a great deal to buy XRP at 15 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents, or even $1. Okay, next up, I want you guys to pay attention to this. This is shared by XRP_Stewart. So right here, Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, says this. It's a 2-minute clip. Listen carefully. So basically he says, a different part of Ripple's technology and their software that connects banks to the liquidity solutions. So these are private. Think about almost as a private temporary blockchain between 2 banks. So remember, guys, banks are still going to want privacy. Also remember, Nick Bougalis just actually proposed kind of making private destination tags for XRP wallets. This is going to help the banking system big time. That way, not everything's public for them. They can still see everything between groups, kind of an intra-banking system, of course. Oh, that kind of makes JP Morgan coin, pointless. And again, JP Morgan will, probably be successful with a smaller group, but that's still going to require trust, and not other countries are going to want to join on. So again, I think that there's going to be more than enough business and money for multiple groups to survive. And I think that even XLM, Lumens might actually play a role in retail international payments, but we'll see. I do own a little bit just to hedge my bet with XRP because they're similar technologies. Obviously, I'd much rather bet on Arthur Brito, Stephen Thomas, David Schwartz rather than Jed McCaleb. So again, talking about this, and as we talk about with atomic swap technology, it's cryptographically signing the transaction, holding that value, that XRP in escrow, and then once everything is confirmed on both ends and the requirements are met via the smart contract, it's releasing it at the same time. There's no intermediary. This is all based off math. So listen up. And this is the future of how banks will settle, guys. Everyday people, we're not even going to care about this. I'm simply investing into XRP for a return on my investment.
Banks that Ripple signed. So today we have a product in market that's we're releasing version 4. When we launched version 1.0, which is always an exciting time for a tech company, you release a product, it's version 1.0. We launched that product, we were partnered with one of the largest banks in the Middle East, and we went to market, and we went live. And we had a call from a very upset Middle Eastern banker saying, wait a minute, people can see my transactions. I don't want people to see my transactions. So look, blockchain is powerful, and a public ledger can be leveraged to make transactions. But banks, if every SCB transaction was written to a public ledger,
Siam Commercial Bank,
would SCB be excited about that? The answer is no. I'll tell you very certainly. The nature of how we have evolved our technology, yes, some of it, XRP is a public open ledger. A different part of Ripple's technology that connects banks to the liquidity solutions, these are private, think about it almost as a private temporary blockchain between two banks. It's cryptographically signing the transaction, holding it in escrow, and releasing it at the same time. So you never have a situation where a transaction doesn't complete. But the point I would make is, those who espouse.
So transactions are never going to be lost. They are guaranteed by math. There's true interoperability, especially if the Interledger protocol is the backbone of the financial system, whereas XRP will be one of the backbones for transferring value. This is the environment we're moving towards. Now, I believe XRP is going to have a massive market share in the future just based off of the years of research. It's really hard to put everything I've seen and read into, little videos. So whenever things come across, I just try to, present them and share it with everybody. And you guys can decide for yourselves. It's well known that XRP is working with the top 40 to 50 central banks and governments of the world. Please just look at the backers. I just want to emphasize, people say, follow the money. Yeah, you can follow the money, but what's even better is us investing in this open source protocol. It's still not too late because it's extremely undervalued before regulations come, before even bigger money can legally get into it. So instead of following the money, I intend to beat the money there.
How is this idea of, look, all transactions should be open? I look at that and I think, that is not the real world. We can talk about the origins, particularly around Bitcoin, and to some of the degree other tokens, has been this idea of, hey, we're going to circumvent governments. We don't want the government involved. We're going to circumvent banks. Look, Ripple, we come at it from exactly the opposite point of view. Governments aren't going away. By extension, banks are definitely not going away. We can enable banks to enable an internet of value. If you want to enable an internet of value, you have to connect the repositories of value. The repositories of value are the banks. We want to work with the banks, with financial institutions, with payment providers, with Linney Pay or PayPal or fill in blank, to dramatically accelerate the nature of how payments occur today and reducing that friction.
That is their goal, guys. This is one of the companies that is leading the initiative of this open source protocol that I personally am taking a part in. I just don't get it. I really respect the idea of decentralization and arguing Bitcoin is one of the answers, but unfortunately, it's not. It's highly centralized now thanks to the mining pools, the proof of work kind of reward system, and the initiatives that it's pushing. A lot of proof of work is not going to work. Ryan Zagone even said proof of work is not going to work. He was, a Ripple director, talking about these things. It is simply not the future. XRP is energy efficient. It's working with the system. It already has the backing. It's one of the highest valued private companies. Notice how they're just dead quiet during this liquidity crisis happening globally. It's because there's a bigger plan going on. And if you think this is too good to be true, simply sit back, feel free to continue watching these videos and just remember that we told you so. I am not trying to get people to buy it so then, the price is going to go up. I don't think that our money's really going to make a difference. I'm just saying this is the opportunity now before the true capital comes in and floods this entire market. All right, next up, shared by Matthew, Liny. So custom and border protection, intellectual property rights, and blockchain. Now, this is something that I would be looking into also as another form of passive income in the future is, just kind of patenting different technology and getting some intellectual property. Just wanted to share this. This is the U.S. federal government. We do have the source here if you guys would like to see just the website. I just thought it was pretty cool just to see additional benefits from the, proof of concepts included and just simply using blockchain to actually enhance this protection related to all property licensing as a whole. Not really relevant to XRP, but I'm just showing another application for value. All right. Cross blockchain interoperability by the use of these links. Standards, it's just a highly evolved ledger system. Now, anytime that value is transacted and smart contracts can do payouts for intellectual property, kind of like dividend payments for stocks, this is the same type of mechanism. No more are we having, different groups take a percentage of it. So with artists and when they have their songs on, say like, what is it? Why am I blanking? Whether it's Apple or Google and these artists have their songs on iTunes, they're not getting a cut anymore. You can put your music out there. It's on a decentralized platform, relatively decentralized. I should just say distributed more so. And therefore you are just getting all of your funds. Maybe a little bit goes to the blockchain, but these are micro fees. So this is the environment we're going in, where it's all about disintermediation, which is getting rid of intermediaries, aka middlemen. Okay. Next up, Cointelegraph. So researchers in Japan actually unveiled a blockchain system as well to settle legal disputes in a so-called digital court. Right? We're going to see more and more of this. True automation as well. There's so many benefits of this technology. If you guys do not believe that blockchain is going to be one of the game changers, especially in the financial technology space of how we transfer value in terms of trust and savings and operational efficiencies, I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's continue. There's going to be various winners. And why do I think XRP is going to be among them? Well, because you have to choose an open source technology that's available and is distributed as much as possible. The more adoption it gets, the more people are incentivized to run types of nodes and validators to the system, and therefore it is like a snowball and it becomes more and more secure with its consensus mechanism as well. I am unbelievably bullish. Do I have some confirmation bias? You can call it confirmation bias in the XRP ecosystem, but I can assure you, if you read as much as I have, there's nowhere near the amount of information and backing available compared to any other digital asset. Personally, maybe there will be digital assets that do, 50,000x, and that's awesome. I'm just saying XRP for me is a lot more guaranteed. It is like the gold, the future gold of the financial system, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin, guys, it can 10x, whatever, say it's 7K today, it can 10x and go to, 70,000. Doesn't matter. Do you know how many XRP I could get right now with the same amount of price for one Bitcoin? It's just no question. I'm investing. Of course, yeah, the tech is cool. I'm backing it. I support it, but I'm here to make money. Do not be fooled. I'm trying to be transparent with you guys, and I'm sure you're here to get money as well. All right. This is really cool right here. So I am Legion, guys, one of the top researchers in the XRP community. Please follow this gentleman. Of course, he has a Coil blog as well. If you guys have Coil, I do. I got to read through all of his blogs as well. Tons of information about XRP and just showing you the true backing of this system. So right here, guys, we got Finextra. So this company actually announces now, Sweden, remember their digital currency, the e-krona that they announced, joins the European Central Bank's instant payments settlement platform. And of course, we have it right here. I'm just going to read this for you. So right here, based on this agreement, electronic payments made in Swedish krona or e-krona, electronic krona, can be settled on the settlement platform for instant payments operated by the Euro system. So again, more RTP. This is even before JP Morgan's announcement. We can go right here. We're going to listen to this. This is Christine Lagarde who I was talking about the e-krona, talking about tips. This is kind of their instant payments initiative and the future of the Euro system running their payments. Now, We've shown the connections with Ripple, with TAS Group. This is TAS Group. We've talked about tips and their payment initiatives. We've talked about EBIX. There's just so many groups going on. Listen to this. This is an older clip, but I want to show you guys the support that's going on.
They have launched in November something that is called TIPS, that enables all the banks in the Eurozone to actually transfer instantly at virtually no cost money between them. So I think the role of the...
And keep in mind, when there was that like $50 million transaction and they sent via XRP, what was the fee? It was like 3 cents compared to, 1% or 0.5%. It's a huge difference when you were sending this much money around. Through the Euro system, there's probably $50 million moving, several times per minute. Do you understand what type of transaction volume and value is required to transfer that type of data?
Disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether
XRP.
you call it crypto assets, currencies, or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago. That is clearly shaking the system.
Shaking the system. I love that. All right, next up. So right here, going hand in hand with that, Accenture, guys. Also, remember, Accenture is helping the digital transformation of not only SWIFT and their correspondent banking system, R3, the boys on Wall Street. And keep in mind, R3 will choose to settle either with XRP or SWIFT GPI for the future SWIFT network. Or we can also talk about Accenture helping Ripple build, their integration and digital transformation for distributed ledger tech. So right here, Accenture will build out also the eCrona's consumer-facing features, how a user would pay on various mobile platforms. And remember, Interledger Protocol, ILP bridging all of these types of ledgers and networks, and then run them in a test environment with simulated stores. Now, this is all with Rick's Bank. Now, keep in mind, eCrona does have capabilities and will have capabilities to integrate with DLT as well. All right, and then lastly, what was it? I was reading something here on this article as well. Let's see, Sweden to test eCrona, bank digital currency on Corda. So again, this is, okay, so also, they're not only partnered with Accenture, but I just wanted to share this, that Sweden actually, with their eCrona, is also testing it on Corda. Do you guys know what Corda is? The open source blockchain platform of R3. Do you see how everything is connected? They're all working together to work on this. Okay, next up. This is a quick one. I just wanted to share this. So Matthew Linney, or L-I-N-Y, it's an inside joke. I just say Linney because I said it for so long. R3 teams up with custodian Hex Trust to help Asian banks sell security tokens. Remember, STOs, security tokens, are going to be huge for banking clients specifically. We can even talk about, something out of left field with the Volcker rule and new changes and, hedge funds and banks being able to not only custody crypto assets, but be able to trade them on behalf of everyone. Don't get me started on, PolySign. I'll do a future video with them again, along with what was the new company? I was reading about it last night, Standard. I'll have to go over that before I butcher in it anything. I don't want to give false information and want to make sure I know what I'm talking about before sharing it. So right here, even with Hex Trust, tokens designed digital and blockchain allow transactions to happen 24/7. All right. I know that might be silly, but also with the smart contracts, pay dividends automatically and automate voting functions. This is the future with asset fractionalization, with stocks, equities, securities, you name it, whatever word you want to use. All right, next up, so the Cryptic Poet sharing this video clip of David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, talking about micropayments, and I know we just talked about them, a couple minutes ago on the Interledger protocol and actually streaming payments 24/7. So streaming payments, guys, opens up a whole new world of possibilities. As David Schwartz says, we are witnessing a revolution in the way we transfer value. We are witnessing history. Now remember So now what I want to emphasize is this. Imagine owning some HTTP or just IP packets for the Internet of Information back in the day, and realizing how much volume and how much data usage and video consumption on Netflix and how many people are streaming music and, sending files via the cloud. If you owned a portion of that protocol and the more information that ran over that protocol, those packets that you owned, you would get a micropayment. This is how XRP will function. When you own XRP, whatever they are sending over the XRP ledger, whether they send it via XRP or there are IOUs, right? It doesn't matter whether they're sending digitized gold or Ethereum or, some stocks or just trading, actual IOUs of US dollar on the network. It requires XRP to both burn and secure the network, but also sometimes it'll choose XRP if it's the fastest payment mechanism on the Interledger protocol. That's the way it's programmed. When the volume runs over that, you are getting paid, and then XRP as a bridge asset will simply appreciate per the value you are sending over the network. They're not like Interledger. They said, well, what's the market share? They said all the money. They didn't say all US dollars. They didn't say international payments. They didn't say the derivatives market. They said all the money. This is quadrillions. And I'm not kidding. And if you guys think that's a lot, look at the Federal Reserve, guys. They're printing trillions. I mean, we're reaching $1 trillion per day. Guaranteed there's going to be another stimulus package on the way as well for the big boys.
But all right, listen to this. The main point that I want to make is that ILP is a micropayment technology. Over 1 billion ILP payments in 2018. And there's a reason that's important. You can do everything with a micropayment. Micropayments are kind of like packets. If you think about the way the internet works, it sends a packet to its destination with the best effort. ILP does the same thing. The smarts are at the endpoints, and the same thing is true with ILP. So if I want to send somebody $100, I can just sort of start streaming money at them, and when it gets to $100, I can stop.
See how it's kind of like little batch payments? It doesn't have to send it in bulk. This is completely just streaming. And think about how much liquidity this will actually provide this system, and kind of also have that flywheel effect. This is just me thinking offhand and how big this really is.
And that is better for a number of reasons. If you're going to make a payment in one shot, you need to get a quote. But do you get a free quote or do you pay for the quote? If you get a free quote, it's going to be a terrible quote because you've got a free option. If you're going to pay for the quote, how many quotes do you pay for? Do you just pay for one and then
and how fast do you get the quote? And how valid will that quote be for? Is it only for a few minutes? Is it for a day, etc.? So the more value we have on the system, the more liquidity, the higher the price XRP, the more stable it will become at a higher price value. This is why a price set is actually entirely possible. Now, for those of you that are going to comment and say, oh, XRP will never surpass $1, you might as well, just unsubscribe right now. And then you guys can come back and subscribe after it is, because it's simply a matter of time. This is what these people are saying. I mean, David Schwartz was, working with the NSA in 1988. These people do not throw figures around for fun.
Take it? Do you pay for 5 quotes and only take one of them? When you stream micropayments, when you make payments by micropayments, you can stream that payment through multiple forwarders. And those individual forwarders can stream that payment through multiple forwarders, and you can take advantage of that best path. And if the path is really good, you can stream money faster. And if the path is really bad, you can stream money more slowly. And the net effect is that you can manage a payment as a series of micropayments. And I know that sounds kind of crazy to you guys today, but if we lived in the circuit switch days of telecom, packet switch, like sending a telephone call over packet switching would sound just as crazy, but it's just as innovative. If we can develop micropayments that are as cheap as a DNS request, micropayments can take over the world. We can put all of the world's payments on a modern payment platform that interoperates between both blockchain and non-blockchain value.
AKA Interledger protocol. Interledger, between ledgers, bridging them all. And again, they can send, it's value agnostic. XRP can only be one portion of it. I'm just saying that, Interledger protocol will be the backbone of the financial system. I've heard, even Brad Kimes say the bedrock of the financial system. I love saying that. And then, of course, that's the interoperability protocol. And then you need at least some digital assets or crypto assets to send said value. And the cool thing is with XRP, it has various benefits. And I want to actually talk about why XRP is so much better with the XRP ledger specifically than a lot of other digital assets. You guys go, oh, well, this one can actually have transactions per second and scalability of, thousands per second. Okay, well, there's pros and cons to everything, and I want to show you guys in a future video clip. And let me go through a few other points, and I want to share why their decentralized exchange is so far superior as well. There's a method to the madness. There's a greater plan here.
Interledger payments plus digital assets could be that internet of value, that way to move value all around the world.
I just said that. All right. So right here, so this is actually XRP Crypto Wolf, just something small here. So CoinHouse HQ is the first crypto firm to win a license from France's Financial Markets Authority regulator. It's going to help crypto companies get banking service, or this crypto company, get banking services in France and also bigger institutional clients. And of course, this license will allow them to do commercial ads as well. Okay, or commercials, advertisements. So again, a step in the right direction. I think Europe is really, really stepping up. I'm not sure if the US is actually truly behind or they just want that appearance. Who knows? Okay, and then of course, this is CoinHouse, just so you guys can see, the most trusted platform for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I feel like, every group says that. You can see the payments, Visa, SEPA, you name it. All right, and then we got XRP listed as well. Choose premium. All right, next up. So King Solomon just sharing this. I just wanted to go over this again. April 6th, 2020. We know Corda, the open source blockchain platform for R3. I personally am bullish. Some people do not believe that R3 will ever use XRP. I personally do. I think that, whether they used Swift GPI or XRP, they're going to settle in some form or another. And also, if you are aware of the lawsuit back in the day for, billions of XRP, I still believe that they were settled, even on the worst case, maybe a billion XRP. This is an extremely well-funded group, originally, backed to by Goldman Sachs. So, let's see Corda for capital markets. And remember, Chris Larson, executive chairman of Ripple, said, yep, we need to develop the liquidity. We need to develop, cross-border payments. Then we can go over into, other sectors. Of course, they're already working. They have full-time engineers for decentralized finance. And they said they would not do that until they have everything else on lock or guaranteed. So it kind of makes me even more bullish. And you guys might be mad and go, but price is at, 20 cents or 10 cents. It doesn't matter. You have to see the bigger picture and how fast things could happen, when this really switches. Okay, so R3 of capital markets, and we realized how much money there is. And then after, these distributed applications can be built upon, it really is that flywheel effect. And then right here, King Solomon also just wanted to highlight this settlement process. So we have Corda Settler, the standard DVP, delivery versus payment functionality with integration to various payment rails. Right? Remember, I believe that they're going to enhance and update the domestic payment rails in the United States in every country. And then after that, they still need to solve the cross-border payment problem, which is actually bringing back trillions of dollars of capital that is sitting dormant in these pre-funded accounts home. That is what I want to emphasize. All right, we're going to finish up with this clip. So right here, this is again, XRP_Stuart. Please follow this guy. Stuart XRP, guys, does some great work for everybody here. So the XRP ledger. This is David Schwartz again. Is that Stephen Thomas as well? So we have a distributed decentralized exchange. Remember, decentralized exchange is a DEX, DEX. It's the largest one on the planet. And this is an old clip too, guys, 2018, about the equivalent of 300 million Japanese yen a day in volume alone on this decentralized exchange. You can create arbitrary assets on the ledger. They are they're simply making an open level playing field, sharing this option, and you guys can choose what the best asset is. They say if XRP can't win in a level playing field, it doesn't deserve to win, along with any other crypto asset. They are encouraging competition, which basically creates innovation. Listen up.
To highlight some of the additional features of our ledger, which not a lot of people know about, but it has a lot of advanced features to provide for security that that competing systems typically don't have. Like, I'll give you one example. Let's say I had a Bitcoin address that I had publicly announced to people. I said, hey, you want to send me money, send it to this Bitcoin address. And let's say I don't want to deal with the Bitcoin system. I just want to let Stefan turn that into dollars and deposit into my account. What I have to do is I have to give Stefan my private key. There's in practice no other way I can let Stefan manage it. And now let's say I don't want to use Stefan anymore. Maybe he's charging more than I'm willing to pay. He has a competitor who's charging less. What do? I have to go to all the people I've given the Bitcoin address to and give them a new one, or I have to give somebody else the secret key that Stefan also has. It's a real management problem. The XRP ledger has key rotation and multi-sign built in, and you can change the properties of your account without having to move your funds or changing the address that people send money to. We have a distributed, decentralized exchange. It's the largest one on the planet, about the equivalent of
no big deal, though.
About 300 million Japanese yen a day in volume on this decentralized exchange. You can create arbitrary assets on the ledger. So I think if you look objectively at the advantages and the features that we have, I think you definitely see the advantages of building on the XRP ledger and using XRP as an asset.
All right, and then keep in mind, guys, XRP is not trying to be a one-world currency. You're going to go to the store and buy your bread with it. That's ridiculous. This is going to be an invisible technology or protocol on the back end, starting off in the financial system, really just helping transfer all value. That is all it is. Eventually, I think that whether XRP has a high price set or just gradually goes up and up and up, they're not really going to talk about it in the news. I believe that it's kind of just going to become and just ease in and just be a huge part of everyday life, but no one's going to notice. Nobody knows how, the magnetic strip on a credit card works. Everyday people. Most people can't explain how the internet works as a network of networks, and how, the backbone of the internet functions, or how cellular networks work with the cell phone to and from, transferring, voice over IP and going digital from analog, things of that nature through, telephone systems. It's just how it functions, guys. We're on the precipice of something huge. I cannot emphasize enough. I'm going to continue to do videos sharing these points that are just right in front of us because I believe it's going to pay off big time. It's going to feel so good in the future when we can finally say, we told you so. When I realize how many people we potentially helped, even if it's $20 in XRP to set and forget, instead of, buying that dinner that you could have had or buying that, stupid watch off Amazon, you guys can literally do something and invest into your future, right? Not financial advice. Please, please, please do your own research. Question everything, even everything I said in this video. Go check. If I was wrong about anything, call me out down below. All right, guys, remember to check the links in the description, guys. We have tax-free crypto Roth IRAs. We have exchanges. We have cold wallets down below, merchandise store. Shout out to Jamie XRP and all other top channel members. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Everyone hit the like button, and until next time.